This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
And welcome back here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're all over the web, VirginiaPreps.com, IG, Facebook, Twitter, X as they call it. And we are pleased to be joined by a special guest. He is the head football coach in his fourth year at the helm of the Bethel Bruins there in the city of Hampton. They made some noise last year, and they're looking to do so again here in 2024. David Porter with us. Coach, thanks for stopping by. How's the summer been treating you?
Thank you for having me. Summer's been great. Took a little vacation. I don't get many. Dropped my daughter off at college this past weekend for her first year. It's exciting times all around.
Awesome. Well, this is our first time having you on the program, be it the radio side or podcast. So let's introduce you to the audience out there, the fans that aren't familiar with David Porter, your background, which I know also includes a stop at the college level coaching football.
Yes. So when I graduated college 2001 at Bethel State University, I moved up. I took a job in Newport News. I was at Denby High School from 01 to 04 coaching. I had custody of my son, so I took a little gap from coaching. I came back in 08 with Coach Nelson here at Bethel. I was here from 08 to 13. I coached quarterbacks, receivers, and was the defensive coordinator over that time. I left from here and went to Heritage High School with Coach Massenberg for 2 seasons. We had 2 really good runs there. From there, I went to the apprentice school for 4 years. I took a gap there to watch my son's senior year at Howard University. Then I went to Misericordia with Coach Davis, who I worked under my last year at the apprentice school.
And as my cohort coach Ed Young knows here, Bethel's produced a lot of guys. You think of multi-sport players like John Tell Evans, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, now with the Cleveland Browns in the NFL, just starring for Notre Dame. You think of Willie Davis. You think of Ricky Walker, Riho Walker, the Walker brothers and family. So a lot of guys have stepped up there, Ed.
Yeah, and some kid named Allen Iverson who ended up doing basketball instead, but I remember watching him on a football field, and the game I saw, he scored 5 touchdowns 5 different ways. So that kid was pretty good too.
Pretty decent.
But now, Dave, where'd you play high school at? Where'd you go high school?
I went to Triton High School down in Dunn, North Carolina. It's like a midpoint between Fayetteville and Raleigh.
Okay. Now, I see in your background, of course, you played college ball. You did a couple of stints of college coaching. If you could give us to the listeners a little bit of a difference, and maybe in terms of what's priority or not, coaching high school.
Coaching high school is more about everything student-based. It's about turning these young men into great fathers, better men, and community leaders. You're developing that skill for them to carry on in life. At the college level, you're doing the same thing, but it's more so a business. The production is really expected from you and the kids as well. And the academic piece, you have more assistance at the college level than you do here as far as getting the tutoring and learning needs being covered for those kids.
Well put. And I'm sure Ed will jump back here in a second with you, too, to follow up. I want to get to last season because, a year ago you guys were 0-2. You fought in Nansemond, River, and Warwick, 2 good teams in your region, 5B. But then you started to hit your stride. You won 4 in a row. You shut out Woodside and Kickingham. You beat Menchville rather soundly, 41-7. And there was some bulletin board material for that game. And then I think I even told you candidly, and I'll say it publicly now, that, and this isn't any shot at anybody specifically, I felt you guys got a screw job scheduling. You had to play 2 games in a span of 3 or 4 days with the weather, the makeups, and I didn't think it was fair to you or your kids. You had to play Phoebus and Heritage, 2 teams that were, region deep, and in Phoebus's case, 3 years in a row, state championship level teams, and it was hard to get back on that groove you were in with the weather also affecting it. How much did you look back on that and say, man, we were just that close to really taking off, if you will, and you were taking off to a degree?
And I told the kids, I told my staff, I take full responsibility for the Heritage loss. Coach Woodley, who's a great coach, he did a much better job preparing his guys to play in the rain than I did. We had 3 games over a stretch of 7 days. We played Heritage Saturday, Phoebus Tuesday, and we played Denby Saturday. That's Saturday. It was tough. Make no excuses. We dropped 2 of those games. Regardless of the weather or whatever situation is, a loss is a loss. And again, around here, the big joke with me is a fish rots at the head. So everything that goes bad starts with me, and I didn't have my guys prepared.
We love the accountability responsibility there for David Porter, fourth-year head football coach of the Bruins of Bethel High, who open up the season at Darling Stadium August the 30th against the Warriors of the Nansemond River. And Ed, in fact, all their games except one, I believe, at Gloucester, October 11th, going to be played at Darling Stadium in Hampton. So a pretty favorable schedule from that perspective for the Bruins, although you still have to deal with some heavy hitters like Phoebus and Warwick, among others.
Absolutely. We open up with Nansemond. This is my third year here at Bethel. This will be the start of my third season. And we've had those guys. We opened with them. Year one was a close game. Year two was close for a while. And then looking forward to this year. He does a great job over there. They have a lot of athletes. My nephew is actually the JV head coach over there, and he coaches on the varsity staff as well. So that's a tough opener. And then we follow that up with Ward. Corey's done an amazing job. We go back. We coach together at Denby, actually. He's done an amazing job over there. He coached my son. So he has that thing going in the right direction.
It really does. And sorry about that with the year correction. COVID threw all of us off, including me there.
Yep.
Ed?
Well, David, we're going to ask you about the assessment of the Peninsula District. You've kind of tiptoed into it a little bit. Let's continue on in terms of, and I know we don't want to say, well, this team's going to be good and this team's not going to be so good, and then that's the old bulletin board material for them or whatever, but assess, and maybe in general, the Peninsula District. Now, Nansemond is your only non-district game, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Assess the Peninsula District.
So, I mean, you start out with of course, you have to go with Phoebus. Jeremy's done an amazing job over there. He does not get nearly the credit that he deserves for what he's done there over the span of time. If I'm not mistaken, he took over the head job in 2012, 11 or 12. He's not had a losing season. Like, he doesn't get the credit he deserves for that. I think, Warwick, again, great job. They have a really good team. Even with Messiah out, they still have a really good team. And I'm naming these two teams at the top, and everybody else kind of just falls in behind that. Hampton's going to be really good this year. They have a quarterback that's really good. Menchville's going to be really good. Rodney's done a really good job over there. We coach together at Heritage. Coley's gonna get Woodside flipped around quicker than people think. Woodleaf over at Heritage, he's done a good job there. They had an amazing run last year. Really good team. Coach Reeman is getting guys in, and the guys are buying in over there. Denby's really never had numbers even when I was there. They'll never have the 50, 60 kids. But there was definitely a difference between the 23 team and the 22 team. So he's done a good job there. Who I leave off? Kickintan, Zach over at Kickintan. We talked. I coached against him when he was playing. He has work to do. Same thing we had when we got here. I told him it's the same job when I took over here. He's just gonna have to recruit the hallways, recruit the middle schools, and get the kids to buy in. Us over here, on the other hand, we're working, we're building. I tell the kids all the time, we have to just keep climbing and running our own race. We have some pieces. I feel a lot better at certain positions than I have since I've been here. Our JV program has always been 55, 60 kids. We have some kids that are in the 8th grade that could be on varsity if they weren't in the 8th grade. So I feel good about us.
Well, let's get to that, Coach, and I totally agree with you. We've had on both Coach Zach from Kickintan as well as Coach Coley of Woodside on the show, and you're dead on. Even besides your works with your Messiah Delomes there, and he's got the injury, the Isaiah Emerys and Phoebus with the Marcus Hobsons, Noah Jeffersons. There's some good players like those young quarterbacks on the rise, Marcus Chapman at Hampton, Kevin Parker Jr. at Denby. There's some Bruins on the rise too. Hit on, if you can, highlight some of the names to watch out for, be it offensively, defensively for you this year.
Yep. So offensively, I'm gonna start with the running back, Amari Pryor. Amari, he came up as a freshman, played on varsity. Last year he was the guy. And I'm biased. It's fine. I'm here. I believe he's one of the top 2 backs in the district, and he might not be number 2. I know there's other strong backs in the district, but he's really good, man. He'll get 30 carries, and he's the same back on number 30, carry 30 as he was on carry number 1. We have Derek Fisher. You may be familiar with Dwight Vick. He's Dwight's nephew. Derek started at receiver and defensive back for us last year. He's going to be the quarterback this year. He played quarterback as an 8th grade on JV. He's kept rolling, catching the system, He looks good. He knows the offense. He's comfortable in it. Up front on the offensive line, Savion Gilbert, Xavier Tisdale, they're 4-year starters. They were here the year before I got here. They've started every year. Caleb Smith is the center. He has an offer right now from Elizabeth City. This will be his second-year center. His sophomore year was his first year playing. He was our tackle. His brother is Isaiah Smith that played here a little while ago. Defensively, we get Odell Pinckney back. He's going to be a difference maker on the defensive line. He wasn't able to play last year. He had some extenuating circumstances that kept him from playing last year. At defensive back, Aaron Hall will be a 3-year starter. Antonio Cummins will be a 2-year starter at cornerback. Derek will also play a little bit of safety and a little bit of free safety and strong safety. We got a transfer in. Julian Johnson came from Mississippi. He looks really good at linebacker right now. Jaden Bryant, who's a senior, he's a 4-year guy in the program. He'll hold down that other linebacker position. So we have some guys. Jaden Short at wide receiver. Jaden Short is kind of in the Victor Romaine mode of style of play.
Yeah.
So we have some guys.
I'm a big fan of that Derek Fisher kid for your coach. Not only is he related to a good friend of ours and Dwight Vick, shout out to Dwight out there, but he's got a great name. He's going to make a ton of plays last year. Tommy plays for, and as Ed knows, being a basketball coach, that's a great basketball name too. He's got the good genes there with that respect, if you will, or good, I guess you could say good look charm, because Fisher made a lot of clutch plays in the NBA. Ed, you're the last one for Coach Porter if we let him roll.
Yeah, Dave, I'm going to go off the cuff here with, I never really ask any coach this. In the games, when you're in the game, you've already done your prep. What is harder to adjust to as the game goes on, their defense or their offense, when you're making adjustments? Is there a major difference, or is it exact same?
It's pretty much the same, of course, because defense and offense is a little bit different. A lot of times you may have just to the front. A lot of guys will line or slant opposite of your back. So you may have to change the run game. You may have to flip the back late. You may change the run game. The coverage, they may give you a shell in the beginning and roll to something else. Use as indicators for that. Defensively, they may be doing something with an extra blocker. They may have an H-back or a tight end, or they may be bringing a receiver back into the box, or they may have added a fullback. You have teams. We had a team last year that flipped their whole offense the week before we played them. So a lot of it is halftime adjustments. And I tell the coaches, we assign people to look at certain stuff. You're watching the defensive line. You got the secondary. You got the linebackers. Okay, on offense, I need you to watch the receivers. Make sure we know if the tight end's coming in, if the fullback's coming in. Just things like that. It's pretty much similar.
Well, Coach, we thank you so much for coming on. This is the first time, but definitely not going to be the last. We look forward to getting back with you on the show and having you connect after a big Bethel win this season, whether it be on a Thursday night, a Friday, or a Saturday. Was 9 of the 10 games are right there in your home turf of Darling Stadium. All the best. Thanks for the time today, and we'll be watching out for the Bruins this year.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good luck to you, Dave.
Thank you.
That's Coach David Porter of the Bethel Bruins, our guest here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to our CoVA Sports TV YouTube channel. We'll be back with more right here. Stay tuned after we hear a word from our sponsors that make it possible for us to do this with you each and every week. From the Plex and all over the web, it is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tuned.